Hey, what's up ladies and gents, SpoonyPizzas here with another eFootball 2023 video. Today I'm going to run through the Inter Milan legends and then we're going to dive into the player of the week, worldwide September the 1st players. So let's dive into the Inter Milan legendary pack and just look at these three legends here. So Lothar Matthäus, defensive midfielder, 28 years old. He's got a B form rating. He's a box-to-box defensive midfielder. Not a role I would particularly like personally for a defensive midfielder. I much prefer orchestrators or anchors at the sort of minimum. Box to box, it can work for you. It just depends what you're looking for. Maybe if you're playing like a 4-4-2 or something like that, he can play in defense. He was obviously renowned for that. If we just take a look at his stats overall, he's a very nicely rounded player. He does favor a possession game, as you can see there in the team play style proficiency. He's got decent ball control, tight possession, low passing, lofted passing. Like I said, he's got really good defensive qualities, defensive awareness, defensive engagement. That's all really good. Very good in terms of his stamina and balance. And he's also got good kicking power, so you could probably score the odd long ranger with this guy as well. Looking at his player skills, exactly that. Long range shooting, rising shot, first time shot, through passing, weighted passing. And he's obviously got some really good defensive qualities here, interception being one of them. It's not so important now with the latest update, but it's still good to have. Overall, a very solid player, but look at the amount of levels he's got here. 33 levels. So you can mold him how you want because he's got decent stats everywhere. He's not going to be good at carrying the ball from midfield. He's not the quickest and he's got low dribbling as well. So moving with the ball, he's going to feel pretty slow. I'd probably play him as a defensive midfielder, to be honest. Maybe in a 4-4-2 because that box-to-box role. Dennis Bergkamp. Now, when I first saw his stats, I was really disappointed. Like, he didn't stand out at all. When I saw the amount of levels, he's got 38 levels of training. This, again, allows you to develop him how you want. And you could boost, like, if I was going to take this player, I'd boost his tight possession, his dribbling, his ball control, his low passing. He is a deep line forward, so he's going to be able to bring other players into play. I wouldn't worry about his speed or acceleration too much. Maybe just boost it a little bit, get that balance up to around 80 plus, and then maybe boost his finishing to around 80 as well. And if we just take a look at his player skills, obviously the key ones here: sole control, which allows him to operate in tight spaces, first time shot, one touch passing, through passing. So like I said, he's going to really link in your play. It's going to be a very nice player. It's certainly one I would love in my team. Wesley Sneijder. Obviously, we've got the AC Milan pack coming, and there was a lot of discussion around who's going to be better, Sneijder or Seedorf. I personally think Seedorf will be a better buy, but if you are an Inter Milan fan, then you may want to, throw some coins at this and try and unearth this gem. But he's really good. Tight possession, low passing. He's got the ability to take a set piece or two. He's got good kicking power. The only thing I would probably do is boost that acceleration, which is going to boost his balance and get that acceleration a little bit above his speed, just so he feels a bit more nimble. I would say try and boost that. If you're going to leave speed at 70, boost that acceleration to perhaps 74, but then you may want to boost the stamina. If you do, take that into consideration because that's going to boost his speed, so you'll then have to boost his acceleration even further. Let's just take a look at his player skills. He's 25 years old. He's got a B form rating and he's a creative playmaker. Again, 35 levels. Take that into consideration just to know how much you can develop this guy and how far you can push him. He's got through passing, weighted passing, pinpoint crossing, low lofted passing, all the good stuff right there. I'm a little bit disappointed he hasn't got one touch passing. Player of the week, and let's start with that man Haaland, who scored another hat-trick. He's only taken 5 games to score 2 hat-tricks, the quickest in the Premier League, and he's got offensive awareness 88, finishing 91, heading 84. Exceptional across the board in terms of his team play style proficiency as well. 90, he can play any sort of system. He's got 90 for speed, 75 for acceleration. Just remember, there's no levels with these players, so you have to use them as their base standard. Kicking power 90 and jumping 90 and physical contact 89. He looks amazing, right? But the key thing for me here is his balance is awful. So with this player, you basically have to take a touch, pass it into him, take a touch, and then hit it as hard as you can and try and shoot from wherever he is. Because if any player gets anywhere near him, he's going to be easy to deal with and shoved off the ball. He is by far one of the worst players you can get in terms of a striker trying to hold the ball up. Looking at his player skills, first time shot, that's going to be vital with this guy. You have to pass the ball into this guy and then just press the shoot button no matter where you are. With that high kicking power and high finishing, you are going to score more often than not. He's got great offensive awareness, so he's going to get into positions very, very nicely. He's going to make really good time runs. He's got obviously other skills as well, but nothing really too important. The only mainly important one is heading, so you can use his heading ability to score from crosses because he is a giant. He's also 21 years old and he has a form rating of A right now, and he's got unwavering form as well, so that's something to take into account. I believe he's got super sub. Yes, he has, so you could leave him on the bench and bring him on as a sort of last minute resort. Odegaard, well, I have to say this has got to be one of the best players that you could probably sign in that attacking midfield role. He's got really good ball control, really good dribbling, tight possession, low passing, and when I play with this guy, his player ID seems way above any other attacking midfielder. He takes the ball in really nice ways, he takes some really nice first touches. He does things that I don't see other players do. I would definitely recommend, if you can try and get this guy, you got to be happy if you had him. I would love to have this guy in my attacking midfield. He's got great balance, good speed and acceleration disparity there, and obviously kicking power as well allows him to score the odd long ranger, but a very, very nice player. Let's just take a look at his player skills. He's 23 years old. He's got a form rating of A. He's going to be really good with the ball. The only downside to him, he doesn't have one-touch passing, which is crazy because he seems really, really good in terms of his passing in real life, so I can't believe they haven't got that. His through passing and pinpoint crossing are really good. No-look passing is pretty useless in my opinion. Captaincy is okay to have as well, and Marseille turn is very, very good in my opinion because it's one of the better skills that you can use. He's got unwavering form as well. Pedri, so again, really good ball control, dribbling, tight possession, low passing, acceleration and speed disparity looks good there as well, so he's going to feel very, very nice on the ball. He's got very high balance and stamina stats, so he's going to last the entire game, and he's going to be very hard to get off the ball at the same time. He's actually got quite good defensive engagement surprisingly, so I was a little bit surprised to see that sort of stat, but yeah, he looks very, very nice. He's got an A form rating. He's just 19 years old, and if we just take a look at his stat or player skills, he's got double touch, sombrero, soul control allows him to operate in those tight spaces, first time shot, one touch passing, through passing, pinpoint crossing. He probably would sit better with me over Odegaard. I really do love Odegaard, but not having one touch passing for that guy is crazy in my opinion, and one touch passing is kind of useful now, especially that the game's become more of a passing game than a dribbling game. Luis Alberto, I mean, it just gets better and better in terms of the ball control, the dribbling, the low passing here. This guy is insanely good. He hasn't got great defensive qualities for a central midfielder. If you are playing him in a perhaps midfield 5, that should be okay with a defensive midfielder. I just think if you're playing a 4-4-2 alongside another player, that other player has to be really solid defensively, otherwise you're going to get exposed because his defensive side is very, very weak. I would probably play him in a 5 across the midfield or a 6 across the midfield, but I certainly wouldn't play him in a 4-4-2, I don't think. Now if we just take a look at his player skills, he's got double touch, Marseille turn, the two probably most effective skills in eFootball 2023, even though they nerfed the double touch. Soul control to operate in tight spaces, one touch passing, through passing and weighted pass, all ideal. So one of the best midfielders you can probably pick up, providing you don't expect any sort of defensive sort of qualities. I think he would definitely be suited to the attacking midfield or support striker roles in my opinion, because he does have fairly decent finishing as well, which is 81. Roberto Firmino, now he is a centre forward, a deep lying centre forward at that, 30 years old, form rating of A. So he's very good with the ball control, so good at receiving the ball, very comfortable, and he can operate in tight spaces with the high tight possession and low pass stats. The only downside to this guy, finishing is only 78, which isn't very good. Linking in the play he'll be fine with, but it means you're going to have decent finishing stats with your midfielders or someone else alongside him, because you can't just rely on this guy to put the ball in the net. With it being 78, I find that it's just too low to score on a frequent basis. But other than that, he's got good balance as well, so keeping the ball in tight spaces, that's where he's going to really shine. But you're going to need a striker, someone prolific alongside him to make this work in my opinion. If we look at his player skills, soul control allowing him to operate in tight spaces, first time shots, through passing, all nice to have. Frimpong, so he's a 92 rated right sided midfielder who can play at right back as well. He's very very, very quick, 90 acceleration, 90 speed, 90 balance, and 92 stamina. So he's going to be very good at getting up and down the pitch. The only problem is he doesn't have much of an end product with 75 low passing and 73 curling and 70 finishing. So, you know, getting down the wing, maybe cutting it back or passing it backwards might be his strength, and his defensive engagement isn't all that great, so playing him at right back probably wouldn't be the ideal thing in my opinion. He might be quite good as a substitute, but not really a player I would get too excited about. Just taking a look at his skills, at least he's got pinpoint crossing. Like I said, with that lofted pass being 72, it's not going to be the most accurate. Soul control is kind of nice to have, but not really all that useful in the wide areas. Double touch is certainly a nice one to have. Furashi, so just taking a look at this guy, he's a centre forward, a goal poacher. He's got very high offensive awareness, decent finishing, speed and acceleration, so he's going to be quick off the mark, and he's got very high balance and stamina as well. So a decent little player here, you know, something to experiment with. Maybe if you're doing just like 4-star squads, because he's a 4-star player. He's got double touch, scissor feint, which are quite nice to have. First time shot, one touch passing, so he can link the play as well. Through passing and gamesmanship, so he's going to win the odd free kick or penalty. And he's got unwavering form, and he's got a rating of A currently. Diego Dallo, so the offensive right back from Manchester United, 90 rated. Pretty quick, 84 acceleration, 85 speed, decent jumping. He's not the smallest defender, so if you're dealing with crosses at the far post from like one side to the other, if you've got a winger cutting in, he should be able to deal with those defensive clearances. He's got fairly decent dribbling, so he can take the ball forward quite quickly, and decent lofted passing as well, so good for crossing, providing he's got pinpoint crossing, which he does have. He has interception as well, which is very nice, and acrobatic clearance, so very, very good at defending crosses in my opinion, with the high jumping and the acrobatic clearance. A solid right back, but there are better ones out there in my opinion. If we just take a look at his form, it is a standard form setting, but he has a high weak foot accuracy. Ramuson, so an 89 rated centre back. You know, he's not one of the greatest players you could probably sign, but if you're looking for a 3-star rated player, then he isn't all that bad. He can play with the ball as well. He's got decent low passing and lofted passing stats, and he's also 190 centimeters tall, and he has decent jumping as well, so dealing with crosses shouldn't be a problem with this guy. He only has the interception player skill though, and he has a form rating of A, and his form rating is standard. Koza, who is a defensive fullback. Now we get into the realms of perhaps players you don't want to spend coins on, in my opinion. He has got decent defensive awareness, but his defensive engagement is a little bit low for my liking. His passing isn't all that great at 70. It's not too bad, but there are better defenders that you could sign for relatively cheap GP. But he is pretty quick across the ground, 77 acceleration, 81 speed, and decent stamina too as well. Before we move on, let's just take a look at his player skills. I mean, first time shooting, that seems kind of pointless to me, but it is what it is. Interception and blocker are nice to have, along with sliding tackle and acrobatic clearance. So some very nice stats there, but it's just a shame you can't level these players up, because he definitely needs some help in the statistics department. If we look at his form, it is a standard rating. He's got medium weak foot accuracy, and he almost never uses his weaker foot. He's just 22 years old, and he does have a rating of A for form. Another concern of mine here though is his height, just 178 centimeters. And finally, Paulo Vitor, who's an offensive goalkeeper, 195 centimeters in height, 33 years old, a form rating of A, but in my opinion, this is probably one of the worst players you could probably get in this pack. His goalkeeping awareness is only 78, his reach is 83, which is decent, but other than that, he's not really a goalkeeper you probably want. You've probably got better goalkeepers in your lineups. Goalkeeper low punt and high punt are nice to have, but not really a goalkeeper I can really recommend. Let me know which players you actually got out of this pack. You know, the players I would recommend, top 3, Odegaard, Pedri, maybe Luis Alberto, providing you've got some good other defensive minded midfielders alongside him to make him shine, or maybe in the advanced role and second midfield role or support striker role would suit him. But beyond that, I couldn't really recommend any of the rest, but those are my top 3 picks out of this pack. So thank you all for joining me, and I look forward to catching you guys next time. Take care and goodbye.